In this video, I'm going to show you how to install the zipper on your shawl collar. For this video, I've cut the low collar line, but the installation is exactly the same. So in step one, we're going to open the zipper just like that. I think that part's pretty easy. Doing well so far. That's so funny. Then we're going to, it's bad when getting your wash away wonder tape is the hardest part. Okay, we're going to put a little piece of wash away wonder tape at the top of both sides of your zipper. Then we're going to fold the tape away and to the side a little bit, kind of like so. Then I'm going to get another piece and do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're folding it towards the back of the zipper and at an angle, just to really make sure it's out of the way. Now we're going to put wash away wonder tape down the left side of the front of the zipper. So I have my tape on the left side. It's going to be face down. Right here. The zipper stop should be placed right below where the seam of the top curve comes in. So if you haven't already done so, you're now going to cut your piece of zipper binding to be 1 inch by 5.5 inches. And it's right here. And so now you're going to place your zipper binding right side down on the edge of the zipper tape with a 3/8 inch overhang at the top. So I'm going to grab my ruler. Here's the top. I'll go 3/8 inch past that. And I'm just going to pin this in place. You don't need to stretch it or anything, you're just going to lay it down. You're going to sew with a serger or a stretch stitch and a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you want to serge over this top part. Okay, don't leave it hanging there, just go ahead and serge all the way off of it. I find this easier. Good grief, there we go. You're going to want to serge over this top part. I find it easier if I actually start sewing at the bottom and then finish at the top. So I'm ready to sew. I'm looking at the back. And I'm going to start here at the bottom and finish at the top. That way my machine doesn't eat that loose bit of fabric at the top. Again, it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and you can actually do this with a straight stitch. You don't have to get fancy with it. So there it is from the front. It's a little hard to see my pink stitches here, but you can see them from the back. 4, it says pull the zipper binding away from the zipper so the right side is showing. So my right side is brown here. And then I'm going to flip it over so you can see this more easily. And then it says fold the top of the zipper binding over the seam allowance toward the wrong side. So I'm going to get my wash away wonder tape here and put just a small amount right across the top here. You can do this with a pin. I just find it much easier. Let me trim these threads. So you're going to go all the way down so it's snug with the top of the shawl collar there and tape it down. Now, one thing actually before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and trim this little piece of zipper tape here so it doesn't get pushed around by my binding or make my binding look a little more bulky than it needs to. Now in step 5, we place the wash away wonder tape along the wrong side of the free edge of the zipper binding. Fold the binding around the zipper tape and tape in place on the back of the zipper. Okay. So now in step 6, it says fold the zipper so the seam allowance is on the wrong side of the hood placket. Edge stitch along the binding to secure the zipper in place, making sure that the right side is smooth while you sew. Using a long straight stitch is fine. So I've got it towards the wrong side now, and I'm actually just going to pull the zipper so it's facing the correct way, it's facing out, and fold my seam allowance back. So I can put another piece of wash away wonder tape here, or you can pin it. Either way is fine. And what you're doing is you're pulling the zipper away from the collar so it's facing out, and you're rolling your seam allowance to the wrong side. Now I'm going to edge stitch right along the edge here. I'm going to use a contrasting stitch, but you should probably use something that blends in with your collar unless you just like the contrast. Let's go stitch that down. I'm going to do it from the bottom again, going towards the top, just because I have something to sort of anchor it down here. And again, you're just sewing against this folded edge here, and a longer straight stitch is fine. You want to make sure that from the front you don't have any wrinkles and that everything is smooth. But you also want to make sure you're not pulling on it so you don't get wrinkles in it as well. I backstitched at the top just to anchor my stitches. Here it is from the front. Let's see if you can actually